Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I have the privilege of introducing tonight someone I met 3 or 4 years ago. Throughout the time I've known him, I found him to be a genuine and curious seeker of truth, someone who places a greater importance on being authentic and improving the community and environment around him than most individuals his age. His desire to work with others to effect positive change is something that is often missing in the political arena, where partisanship seems to have become more and more accepted as normal, which of course doesn't get anything done. Our country is in need of fresh ideas that move us forward as a united nation instead of keeping us mired in typical Washington partisan gridlock. We also need someone not beholden to special interest groups whose influence compromises the democratic values upon which this country was founded. We are here to support someone who will stand up for the people of Pennsylvania and the principles of this great nation. Someone who is entering politics for the right reasons, motivated to educate and mobilize our citizenship towards making real, lasting, and positive change. I know he is doing this for the right reasons because when I asked him what I should wear tonight, suit, hoodie, those things, he said, whatever you want. So his response confirmed my thoughts about him as a genuine and authentic candidate whose energy will not be divided by trying to craft an image, but rather will stay focused on presenting viable alternatives to the business as usual politics that we've seen in Washington recently. So I know he's been working hard and I'm excited to hear what he has to say. So it's my pleasure to introduce the next congressman from the 5th District of Pennsylvania, Julian Subick.
What happened to the American dream? Is it dead? The first step to solving any problem is realizing that we have one. The America that I read about in the history books, the one that made me proud, is in a free fall. We live in economic fear as the middle class shrinks, jobs disappear, and costs rise. We look to Washington for answers and hear the same worn-out excuses. To answer the question, no, the dream isn't dead. Bruised? Bleeding? Yes, but it's not dead. We are a resilient people and have overcome this challenge before. I have faith that we can turn this country around. We hold our destiny in our hands, and we can restore it if we are willing to open our minds to new ideas. Underneath any external changes, there's a deep shift in our being that must occur. The way we treat one another and our earth is seriously out of alignment with every religious and spiritual moral teaching. Loving our neighbors, forgiveness, and treating others how we would like to be treated seem to have fallen by the wayside in the pursuit to be right. This degradation of morality is coupled with pervasive myth of the other, a group, whether that be Muslim, Mexican, liberal, or conservative, that is supposedly our enemy and is at the heart of our problems. I'm here to say that's false, and that very notion is actually part of the problem. We have two choices here: fear and separation, or unity and togetherness. In separation, we won't find peace, and the status quo will continue on. In unity, we can forge new bonds and make a future that's better for us all. I'm not asking you to change your belief system. What I'm supposing is that we talk to this supposed other side and seek to understand why they feel the way they do. You might just find that they are more like you than you thought. My journey tonight goes back to a post-graduation tour of our nation. I pondered my future and soaked in all that this beautiful, diverse country has to offer. As I drove, I reflected on my strengths, passions, and dreams, and wondered how I could be of the most service. Then it hit me. Everything I care about, from agriculture to drug policy to civil liberties, it all comes down to our government. It is the central leadership of our nation and has been letting America down for my entire life. I am running for Congress in this 5th District of Pennsylvania because I believe that this country needs a revolution and that I'm the man for the job. Thoreau said it best: there are 1,000 hacking at the branches of evil to one who is at the root. To me, our government represents that root. I believe that the only path to enacting real change in this country must happen from the ground up. If we band together, become politically active, and start winning seats in office, we can hack down this evil tree and restore the American dream. I have lived a privileged and blessed life. Millions in this country and around the world are suffering from problems many times more greater than my own. I've made it my personal mission to fight for the voiceless and oppressed, and that quest starts here tonight. Americans are sick and tired of establishment politics, and this primary season is proving it. Many Americans, especially young people, are considering sitting out this election. They feel like the system is corrupt and resistance is futile. I decided to run for office and give the people of this great 5th district someone to rally behind. My priority is winning this election, but along the way, I will engage the community, host cross-party dialogues on important issues, and speak out for the cause of liberty. I think we can all agree that now, more than ever, it is important that civic engagement is necessary to move this country forward. Our country needs a revolution, so let's unite and send Washington a clear message. Change your ways or get out of the way. I'm proud to announce my candidacy here at New Leaf Initiative. New Leaf is a perfect example of the direction that this country needs to head in. It fosters innovation and connects passionate people to the resources they need to achieve their dreams. Its members come from a wide range of disciplines, and out of this diversity comes great ideas. American entrepreneurs are ready and willing to solve humanity's woes, and we need to do more as a country to enable them. I can say from firsthand experience that growing up in today's world is a scary thing. We are only just beginning to grasp just truly how incredible our problems are. These range from staggering amounts of debt on both a personal and national level to an environment becoming more toxic by the day. We can't kick the can forever. We need to take action now. I believe I'm the best suited for the job because God knows I don't have all the answers, but I do have the willingness to listen, learn, and make the fundamental changes that this world so badly needs. Technology is vastly underutilized by our government. Online voting is feasible and would drastically increase voter turnout. Open source technology would allow citizens to track who is working on bills. This is incredibly important when you consider that special interest groups often write the legislation, and the people deserve to know the true authors. 27% of Americans say that they don't vote because they don't have the time. We need to fix that problem and make voting a national holiday. Our political system is in dire need of an overhaul. Congressmen work 150 days a year and make a minimum of $174,000. Do you know of any other public servants who make so much for such little time? I'd put Congress to work for over 200 days a year and cut their salaries by 33%. The solutions I just mentioned aren't even being considered. Our current politicians don't want higher voter turnout or more transparency. They are happy to maintain the status quo for their own means. This must end immediately and is my top priority. There are many areas of overlap between the left and the right, and my platforms are built around this common ground. My focus is on ending the war on drugs, reforming our food system, creating a sensible foreign policy, and making higher education more affordable. America's drug problem has never been worse. There were 28,000 opioid-related deaths last year. Our prisons are packed with nonviolent drug offenders, and we lack effective addiction treatment. Our solution for the last 60 years has been this war on drugs. As I experienced and studied the impact that this war has on society, I noticed a serious issue. It's not working. Drugs are easy to find, deadly overdose rates rise, and the violent underground drug market continues to thrive. We need to treat addiction like a mental health concern, not like a criminal one. I want to cut down mandatory minimum drug sentences, take down 3-strike laws, and drastically increase addiction and other mental health treatment options. The most insane aspect of this drug war is the potential medicinal value that many of these substances possess. Marijuana, MDMA, psilocybin, ayahuasca, and iboga are just a few of the medicines that hold enormous potential in healing a wide range of diseases like depression, addiction, and chronic pain. The federal government not only ignores these studies, but makes it more difficult for researchers to do trials. These substances are either unheard of or have misperceptions attached to them. I ask everyone to keep an open mind because our nation is in the midst of a mental health crisis and all solutions deserve a full evaluation. In my experience studying agricultural science at Penn State and working on small farms, I noticed that our nation's ag policies are misguided. Our policies are supporting the industrial food chain, which is killing jobs, destroying the environment, and jacking up healthcare costs by subsidizing cheap and unhealthy foods. We need to transition our policies to support high-intensive farming methods and diverse cropping systems. People are starting to wake up and realize that they want real food, something that's grown from the earth, not made in a factory. It's time to enact measures that break down barriers for young, beginning farmers and support small, family farms. Ultimately, everything I proposed will stimulate the local economy and connect people back to a more sustainable way of eating. Too many Americans don't feel safe because of terrorism. While the risk of terrorism in America is largely overblown, it remains a threat. Do you know what Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Ron Paul all have in common? They all believe that the war in Iraq was a massive disaster. That war actually made us less safe because it created chaos and further increased anti-American sentiment. War and violence should only be used as last resort options, not used recklessly. Look at Libya. Our intervention has created a leadership vacuum, which has allowed ISIS and other terrorist groups to thrive. I don't condone the dictators of those countries, but we are continually unprepared to ask the most essential question when taking out any foreign government. What happens the day after? Let's fully consider what we are getting ourselves into before we start toppling governments. Like many of my young colleagues, I have student loan debt. The $1 trillion student loan debt bubble in America is a huge problem, and it now exceeds our total credit card debt. The path we are on is unsustainable, and this debt bubble will blow up if we don't act swiftly. State legislatures and universities are largely responsible, but the federal government can also do more. We can start by lowering interest rates from the current maximum of about 7% to down to closer to 3%. There's no reason that our youth, the future of this country, should be getting such terrible rates. We should allow students to refinance their loans and increase income-based repayment plans. Let's make education more experiential and ensure that our education stays relevant in today's job market. I think we can all agree that investing in our youth today will ensure a better tomorrow. The decision to run, while bold and unexpected, was easy to make because I'm following my heart and highest excitement. This campaign is not going to be conventional. I'm not going to say the things people want, because what's right is not always popular. I have no doubts I'm going to win this race, because at the end of the day, it's not about my age, experience, or how much money I have. It's about my ideas and my judgments. My message is strong, I believe in it fully, and I know that it will propel me forward. Tonight is the result of the hard work of a few, and it may seem modest, but I ask you to follow along with my campaign and see the amazing places we go. Every election, we get a grand spectacle of an event. Debates, drama, intrigue, and Facebook comment wars. The candidates seem so different, and party lines are adamantly drawn. What if the two parties were actually more cozy with one another than they would like us to believe? Neither of them want a third party and have mechanisms in place to snuff out any inter-party uprisings. According to the head of the DNC, superdelegates exist to, quote, ensure party officials don't have to run against grassroots activists. That doesn't sound very democratic to me. Significant portions of each party support corporate cronyism, bailouts for the big banks, imperialism, tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy, antiquated drug laws, and backwards whistleblower protection laws. It's amazing how much bipartisanship we actually have. I consider the aforementioned list of grievances a giant slap in the face to our Constitution. This republic was created as an escape from tyranny. We are a republic in name, but now an oligarchy in form. The power to restore the republic lies with us and only us. Remember, we are the government. The degradation of this country only happens when we allow it to. So let's stand up as one nation and take back our republic. We the people, arguably the most important and beautiful 3 words in our Constitution. We deserve a better future, we will triumph over evil, and we will do it this November by electing me to Congress.